Hello and welcome to Oak Road Hatters Put in the Mixer, the only podcast focusing on analytics and exclusively looking at Luton Town. It's sort of like if I Follow and Monday Night Football had a baby. So tonight I'm your host, Ollie K, in Billy's absence, and with me tonight is the Put in the Mixer co-host, Andy Burgess. How are you getting on, Burge?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to having a chat about the last few games.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. It's going to be quite a packed show because what is it? 3 games that we're going to look at. We're completely ignoring Grimsby because it didn't happen.
No.
So 4 goals in 3 games, and we're going to have a little look at Marvellous Nakamba as well for all the viewers. But before we start, smash that like button, and if you're enjoying the show, subscribe to the Oak Road Hatter YouTube channel. So let's dive in, shall we, to the first game that we're going to cover, which was Luton Town versus Cardiff, and Luton Town won the game 1-0. What was your feeling watching this game, Burge?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought we did fairly well throughout. I thought we were probably pushing, and obviously we went and got the penalty. And at that stage, you thought, it probably was fair at that point of the game and the way that it had gone. And then you miss the penalty, and you think, there's your opportunity, there's your chance. But fortunately enough, we kept going, and for Adebayo to get that opportunity to get the winner. I think he'd obviously been having a little bit of a needle with Perry and G, judging by his celebration. So it was a good one for him to get the goal. But yeah, I thought we were good value for it. I thought we deserved the win in the end, and yeah, it was a decent goal that won it again off the back of a disappointing penalty miss.
Yeah, you've taken a few pens in your time, Burge. So what's it like when you step up to the spot? Because it's not like training, is it?
No, it's. Do you know what? I think. I mean, lots said about before penalty shootouts, people say it's a lottery. I don't agree with that at all. I think it comes down to nerve. I think it comes down to confidence. I think it comes down to trust in your own ability. I always found that when I put the ball down, I felt I needed to know exactly where I was going, not change my mind, and take it with conviction, take it with confidence. I don't understand, and it's a little bit of a bugbear of mine, the way players are taking penalties now, where they have 2 or 3 steps run up, where they stutter their run up, where they try and roll it the other side of the goalkeeper, or they're trying to be clever with things. Because listen, if they score, no one can say anything, and it's all well and good if you score, if you stutter your run up and you're a little bit clever with things, and if you maybe do a Panenka, or and it goes in, no one can say anything. But if you miss, you must be lying in bed at night thinking, what an idiot, what am I doing, why did I do that? I just don't understand why you wouldn't just put the ball down, walk back to the edge of the area. And I tried to put pace on my penalties, but I sort of side-footed them with pace and with a little bit of and with conviction. And for me, it's a little bit fashionable now, I think, to be clever with your penalties, where at the end of the day, it's a free shot from 12 yards out, and if you miss, if the goalkeeper makes a worldie save, then fine. But if you miss, and you haven't put everything behind it, and you haven't tried to take it properly, then I don't think you can really say much. So it wasn't a great penalty from Adebayo, and it was down those lines of trying to be a little bit clever. It wasn't we know he takes his penalties like that anyway, but it wasn't a what I'd say a proper run up and a proper strike of the ball, which which is a little bit frustrating in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. We've seen all types of penalty takers at Kenilworth Road, ranging from just Graham Alexander and Kevin Nichols, who just hit it really, really hard, ranging all the way to Danny Hilton, who, you know, he loved the Panenka, but that came that time where he just sort of dinked it into the keeper's hands, and he sort of stopped with the little Panenkas. But
I remember, I don't know if you're too young to remember John Dreyer. He used to have little 1-step, 2-step run-ups as well, which, again, it was fine until I remember seeing him one saved in front of the Oak Road end. And I remember thinking then, I mean, that would have been late 80s, early 90s, I think, thinking, why don't you just run up and strike it properly? But, yeah, like you say, we've seen lots of different penalty takers. And, again, if you score, no one can say anything. But if you miss, then I think you can have your the finger pointed at you a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it was good that Elijah sort of just kept focused and soldiered on, and so the penalty miss was in the 72nd minute, and then in the 88th minute, up pops Elijah Adebayo to net his 5th goal in 5 games. If you want to run that clip and sort of take us through the goal,
sure. Yeah. So I think it was Morris who's found Bell. What I like at the moment, we're committing so many bodies forward, and that becomes really difficult to defend. You can see there's 4 players around the box. We've left Doherty on his own. We just said, look, get the ball in the box. We've got bodies in the box. We've got 2 big centre forwards. We don't need to be coming and linking. The 2 centre forwards are in an unbelievable position. Perfect. Middle of the goal, 5 yards apart. I think the first centre half's a little bit forward of Morris. It's a great ball. Got a little deflection. It's a great ball, and it's just willing to be headed home. If we show it again, there's lots to like about this goal. Again, Morris, good play. Bell, you can see committed players forward. Bells gives it nice and early to Doherty. And what I like about this is again, we don't go and interrupt his area. We don't go and get involved. What we say is, right, my 2 centre forwards are going to get in the box, and we're going to trust Alfie Doherty to get the ball in the box. And the position there, they're just saying cross the ball, 1v1. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be more physical. Again, it takes a slight deflection across, but it's a great delivery. And Adebayo just stronger, more physical, gets across his centre half who didn't stand a chance. And it's a fantastic header. But really, it was quite a basic goal. It was recycle it, get it out to the wide man, leave him 1v1, trust him to get the ball in the box. And when he does, then you're saying centre forwards be there, be in position to go and score the goal. And it was 88th minute winner, and probably one that we deserved, I think.
Yeah, on the balance of play, we definitely deserved it. You could tell from the way Cardiff set up. It was Sabri Lamucci's first game, and he has that very continental way of defending, low block, very disciplined. And regarding the header from Adebayo, it's very Mick Harford-esque in the sense that he sort of stands on the back post and then comes in and attacks the ball. Is that something that you sort of see Elijah doing a bit more in his game?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, obviously Mick's going to have got hold of him and spoken to him about that, and said to him about the fact that when the ball goes wide, try and peel off, try and get to that back post, because if you get under the ball, there's nothing you can do about it, but you can always go and attack it. You can always, get yourself out to that back stick, and try. That's the thing about it. You've got to trust that the delivery is going to come in, because if you trust the delivery is going to come into an area, then you can time your run. Then you know when to get across your centre half. Then you know that you're not making runs for no reason. And when we've got players like Alfie Doherty, James Bree's not there anymore, but when you've got players in wide areas who've got quality, Mari Bell, and now obviously Drama, these centre forwards know that they don't need to listen. They need to not become predictable, and they need to mix it up. So sometimes, yes, come and link. Sometimes come to feet and maybe play a little 1-2, maybe make a wall pass and play around the corner. But a lot of the time, I think it's a case, and I think Rob Edwards will be telling them, get it to wide areas, get it to a wing backs, and get in the box, because two centre halves who are playing against Carlton Morris and Elijah Adebayo aren't going to want to defend those two because they know they're coming across, they know they're going to get across them, they know the crosses are coming into the box. And I think it's going to be a feature of our play for the rest of the season is getting those balls into the box and obviously going back to your point, 100%. I think Mick would have said, hang yourself out, get yourself as far away from the out of the eye line of the defender. Obviously, the defender's got to be trying to see the man and the ball as much as possible. But if you can just be on his shoulder a little bit and not allow him to see when you're coming across, then I think that's the ideal situation to be in. And as I say, it's a really good goal, a really quite basic goal, but it came at a really good time as well, and was good 3 points on the board.
Yeah, it really was. Moving on to Luton Town versus Stoke. So a second home game in quick succession and another 1-0 win. Me and Billy sort of went back and forth about this. We disagreed about how comfortable it was. I said it wasn't a very comfortable game. Billy had quite a few birthday pints and said he was comfortable throughout the entire game. Which side of the fence do you sit on there?
Yeah, again, it was a difficult one. I thought we had spells where I thought we were on top, and again, I think it shows teams are coming to Kenilworth Road now and maybe being a little bit more defensive against us and shutting up shop a little bit and making it more difficult for us to break down. I continue to be of the opinion that teams will be scared stiff of our front two. They'll be concerned about our runners from midfield. They know our wide players are going to put in good deliveries. They know we can play out from the back at times. We know teams are going to come and have so much more respect for us now, because where we are in the league, because what we've done previously. So it is going to be difficult, and we are going to have to be patient at times, and we are going to have to maybe play slightly differently to when teams come and be a little bit more open. But no, I think it was, I would never have said it was comfortable. But, I thought, again, we were probably good value for our win and deserved the 3 points.
Yeah, it was definitely a good omen for us when Harry Souttar left Stoke for Leicester on deadline day. We never beat Stoke when Harry Souttar's there. He's just a man mountain of a defender. And he would have given Morris and Adebayo a good game as well. So in contrast to the Cardiff game, this game saw a very early goal scored by one Pelly Rodican-Panzu, who's in his 10th season with the club now. So do you want to cue up that Pelly clip and let's see this?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, Doherty does well to come and win it. He makes the decision. He's probably Bell maybe should go in there and win the header, but fair play to Doherty. He's come in. He's taken responsibility. It's a good header, and straight away, two centre forwards. It means that the other defenders have to drop off, which creates a space, and then the runs you'll see from deep, from Pelly and from Alan Campbell, causes problems. It's a really good first touch from Pelly, or second touch out of his feet, away from the pressure. And it's not the cleanest of strikes. I don't think he caught it as probably well as he'd have liked it. But there were lots of little things, I think, in this goal which allowed us to create the opportunity. Again, the fact that we've got two centre forwards, the header from Doherty goes into the feet of Adebayo, and then because Morris is there, again, these two centre halves from Stoke have to drop off, and that creates a space. And then the runners from deep is what for me is really pleasing. And the straight away beyond Adebayo are our two number 8s. Again, a good touch from Pelly away from the pressure, and a strike into the bottom corner. So lots of little things, I think, in that goal that perhaps maybe got overlooked a little bit. I think lots is said about, and lots of teams nowadays play sort of 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, and that one centre forward, and they're asked to do so much. I think two centre forwards, whether it's in a 3-5-2, a 4-4-2, whatever it is, it does cause different problems, and it does cause centre halves to do things differently than they would when they're only playing against one player. And again, I sound like a broken record, but when you're playing against two centre forwards of the size and of the strength and of the presence and of the physicality of Adebayo and Morris, it's going to panic anybody. And defenders have to drop off, try and get tight to them. They try how you play against them. It's really difficult. And then again, with Adebayo getting hold of the ball there, it allows the runners from midfield. That's what these two centre forwards allow, because we know they're so good at pinning the ball in and bringing the ball under their spell. It allows midfielders to get beyond them and join in, and that's exactly what you saw there from Pelly and from Alan Campbell. People getting around them, people going beyond, and again that allows them to disrupt defences. And then it's about having that quality in the final third to get the goal. But it was it's not a particularly difficult goal for us to have scored, but I do think there were lots of elements in there that allowed the opportunity to come. And it was his first league goal of the season, I think, and a decent finish.
Yeah, he's scored in every season that he's scored at least one in every season that he's played for us. It's an incredible statistic considering we've had him since the conference. He's just grown every season. He steps up. And every manager's liked him. Every manager plays him. Mm-hmm. Around the grounds, where I was sitting, we were saying, "Oh, it looked like a toe poke." A little bit of a toe poke, but it was a guided toe poke, so it didn't matter. It went in, and we were all very happy. But going back to that goal, I didn't even notice first time that Doughty was the one that won the header, and that shows his abilities going back as well as going forward. And well, I guess that's what you want from a wing back, with the energy to go backwards and forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the fact that he went in and took responsibility for that, when I watched it back, Bell for me probably should have been the one to come and head it or contest the header as a centre half. But the fact that he stepped in and was confident and mentally switched on enough to put himself in there and win the header. But it's not just the fact that he took responsibility and won the header. It's the fact that he kept the ball with the header. It was a really good header into the centre forward, and it starts an attack. So, yeah, it's important that the wing backs are comfortable going both ways, as you say. They have to be good defensively, because there are lots of times where we'll be under pressure, and we have to make sure that, as a wing back, you nail down that, stopping crosses, defending your back stick, being prepared to go and put your foot in, being prepared to go and head the ball and win headers. So it was good to see.
Mm-hmm. And my final question about this game. So this game saw Amari Bell start the second time in a row in the left centre-back position, and that's 2 clean sheets. And by all accounts, he did pretty well. He's slotted in on the left of that back three very nicely. But us at Oak Road Hatter, we know your opinions on fullbacks slotting in at on the wide centre back positions. Like, what do you make of Amari Bell's performances over the last 2 games?
Yeah, I think he's done fine. He's certainly not looked out of place. He's defended fairly well. He's obviously decent on the ball. He's comfortable on the ball. He can obviously get forward and join in and overlap and underlap. And he's done fine. My issue is that big moments happen in games. Big moments happen in games where you need a centre half to read danger and to sense danger and to smell danger. And for me, we saw, and I highlighted it a few times when Naismith was playing at centre half. He didn't do that. It wasn't, and I've mentioned it on the pod before. Scoring goals is a natural thing, and sensing danger is a natural thing, and throwing your body in front of the ball to block a shot is a natural thing. And I don't feel that Amari Bell and Naismith and players who, not all of them, some of them do, obviously, but I just feel that a centre half does that, and a centre half really, really smells danger and knows where to put his body in between the ball and the goal. And Dan Potts is another one who I don't perhaps feel is that naturally gifted defender that can really emergency defend well enough in the middle of the goal. They find themselves in the middle of the goal, having to put their bodies on the line. Those big moments, I just feel sometimes it doesn't happen for fullbacks when they play. Listen, they give us lots of different qualities. They playing out from the back is generally good, and they can go and support. And when they get pulled into wide areas, they can be a fullback because they're used to that, and they can stop crosses and they can defend their crosses and open the body and defend. So, I'm not saying it's not something that they can't do, but I just feel when it's done over a prolonged period of games, I feel that you'll see little things happen that I think highlights and identifies why they're a fullback and not a centre half. But no, he's done fine, and he's Doherty. I really like Alfie Doherty. I really do think he's done really well since he's been in the team. So it allows him to play. It allows him to play on that left wing back position. But no, I probably prefer Bell to Potts in that left hand side of centre half, purely because he's that little bit more athletic and can probably get forward and beyond and support. Is that little bit more dynamic in terms of pace and athleticism. So we'll see how it develops over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I quite like Amari Bell slotting in there as well over Potts, because I feel his one-on-one defending is slightly better. And as you mentioned, his athleticism allows him, because he's more naturally a left wing back by trade, his underlaps and also his ability to play on the wing is fantastic. Whereas Potts kind of is a wee bit lacking going forwards, but he's phenomenal in the air. And that's sort of what you want in a defender. So moving on to the third game of tonight, but also it was the fourth game in a very busy 10-day period, I guess. Luton went to the CBS Arena, which is a lovely stadium, and again notched a nice early goal against I would say, from my uneducated opinion, I like the way that Coventry play. I think they play some nice stuff, really, under Mark Robins. What do you think, Burge?
Yeah, unfortunately, due to iFollow, I couldn't really see much of the game or follow much of the game. There were slight issues with the service, but yeah, I mean, it was a good start, really good start after 38 seconds, I think it was. And listen, Coventry City are an established Championship club. They'd probably argue they should be a Premier League club. I know they've got the problems with the ownership or with the ground and stuff like that, but they've had a real good history. They've been a long time in the Premier League and the First Division. So it's a really difficult place to go. I did see that I was at the Coventry game earlier in the season, actually, at Kenilworth Road. They've got some good players, some good individuals. He's done well with them. Mark Robins has been with them a while, so he's created a way of playing and a philosophy in the football club. It was never going to be an easy game, and I think coming away with a point at the end of the day isn't a bad one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy to think that Coventry were in League Two not so long ago, because they had that steep drop from the Premier League. Because when I first started following football in the early 90s, they were a Premier League club. They were, as you say, an established First Division Premier League club, and then they dropped like us, but they've come back, and they're sort of appeared on a Coventry pod before the match, and they said Coventry is sort of following the same trajectory as Luton. And as you say, Mark Robins, he's been there for a long time. He's doing a great job. And they do have some very good players. So Lockyer started it, 38 seconds. And let's roll that clip and have a look at this goal.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously lost Harry Corner, long throw. But I really like the way we've worked this here in terms of getting it a 2v1. I think Burke made the run in field, which allowed us to create that 2v1. And then we're saying, have we got the ability to get the ball in the box? That's the main thing. And the boys do. It's not a great cross, but look at the coverage there of the 6-yard box. I think there's 6 players to Coventry's 4. I think if you were Mark Robbins, you've got 4 players there doing absolutely nothing. I know it's a bit of a shank again. It's got another Dougherty cross. It's got a slight deflection. But the real positive there, again, is the coverage of the box. And it probably could have been 2 or 3 players who put the ball in the back of the net at the end of it. It's early days. It's 38. It's 30 seconds into the game. We could have said, okay, let's just, try and ease our way into the game. But real good quality down the sides. Again, not the greatest ball into the box, but as I say, really poor defending from a Coventry point of view. But a real good area it's gone into, and Lockyer with it looks an easy finish, but they're not always. I think it bounced just in front of him. I think it was his left foot as well. So. No, it was a fantastic start, and if you don't, as I say, we lost Cornick's long throw. It looks like Dougherty has used his a little bit. It's perhaps not quite. I don't know. I haven't measured the pair of them or compared the 2 of them, but whether it's quite as long as Harry Cornick's, I'm not so sure. But it's a weapon that's being used probably more and more again now. It went out of fashion a little bit, but it's coming back in now. And if you've got someone in your team who can launch it into the 6-yard box, it's as good as a corner. So no, but it was a fabulous start, and it's good to see Tom Lockyer on the score sheet.
Obviously, I've never been a fan of Harry Cornick's long throws. As far as I can recall, I think we scored from one, maybe Birmingham 2 years ago. Dan Potts scored. Other than that, I don't feel they have been really that effective unless you've got a Rory Delap or a Ben Tozer that sort of have one of those unique throws where it doesn't sort of go up and down. It sort of just goes straight, in which case you have a proper weapon there. But I prefer the little intricate build-up around the box. And as you said, it was an early goal, but I feel perhaps it was a part of Coventry weren't quite switched on, but you pointed out the defending was quite abject with those 4 players doing nothing. Perhaps the deflection on the cross might have just wrong-footed a lot of them, but fair play to Tom Lockyer to being so quick to react and turn that one in. It was a tidy finish and a good start to the game. And then we don't have the. I don't know if you have the footage for the.
No, I looked at it earlier. I think he just switches off for a split second or so, and gets the wrong side, and he does put his arm across him. Whether it's enough to go down, I think if it's the other way around, we're saying it's probably a Stonewall penalty. I think it's probably the right decision. The yellow card or red card argument, I haven't got a clue what the rules are anymore, so I wouldn't even like to start guessing whether it should be a red card or a yellow card, because I genuinely don't know what the rules are. So, you hear one thing and you hear another, but it was probably the right. No, I think it was the right decision, and I'll show. I saw when the team went out on Saturday, he got getting quite a bit of stick on social media and things. I like him. I think he's a good player. I think his range of passes he's done well, but he does have these moments of madness. He does have moments where he switches off or does something really daft. If he can just get through that period of, and a lot of centre halves, John Stones went through a period of making lots of mistakes, and it does happen. But I think if he can just get through this period of making those daft errors, then I think he'll be a really good player, because he's athletic, he's good on the ball, he can step up and play in midfield, and he's strong in the air, but he does need to eradicate the little things that are letting him down at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly has all the attributes, and people forget he's young, 24, which is relatively young for a centre back. But under Rob Edwards, who himself was a centre back, that's the perfect coach for him. I don't know what it's like on the training ground. Do you think Rob Edwards is getting stuck into the the training, do you reckon? And
Yeah,
putting his
yeah,
arm around
100%.
Gabe?
Yeah, I'd say he would be. Yeah, he obviously likes him because he's played him a lot, and he's had opportunities to take him out of the team and not play him, and he's stuck with him. So I think he's one of those players you definitely look at and think, I can mold him a little bit and I can work with him. And we don't know whether he's a good trainer. We don't know if he's a good learner, whether he takes things on board or not. But yeah, you'd certainly like to think that Rob Edwards is working with him, is talking to him, and is trying to, because, like you say, he's got all the all the attributes. He certainly could be a really good Championship central defender. He just these little moments that he keeps having, as I say, just needs to get them out of his game a little bit, and that. And it's difficult because it's a results business and it's a results game. But if you take him out of the team, he isn't going to learn. So there has to be that balance between, developing players and making players better and making sure you win games and making sure you stay competitive. And I guess that's the balance that Rob Edwards has to deal with, and managers have to deal with. And if they get it wrong, and it's difficult for managers that don't look at Nathan Jones. You don't get the opportunity to develop players because if you don't win games, then you don't, you're not given time. So it's a real tough one for managers. But yeah, I'd say he's certainly looking at Gabe Osho as somebody who he can mould and create into a really good Championship centre half.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking at Gabe's numbers for that Coventry game, 7 recoveries, 4 headed clearances, 5 clearances, 1 interception. He won one of his 2 tackles, which was good. He blocked a shot. Won 6 of his 11 ground duels. But the main thing to remember was that he was up against Victor Gyökeres, who is one of the best strikers in the Championship and will most definitely be playing Premier League football next season. And he'll probably move for big money. Well, that's my opinion anyway, for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, he's a real handful. He's a big, strong boy. And I think those numbers you've just said, that shows he has got the ability and he can do it. I just think it's those moments in games that he needs to be better in.
Moving on to a little bit of marvellous analytics. So we got a couple of video clips here demonstrating what a marvellous piece of business Nakamba has been.
Yeah, I think it's a great signing. I think he's a real proper pivot, proper holding midfielder who I don't think he'll ever really do anything that exciting in terms of with the ball, or he's not going to open teams up, but I think he's going to do the basics really well. I think he's going to allow other players to go and flourish. He's going to allow the midfielders to go and join in and give us real stability and real security in front of the back three. Just a few of the clips, and they're only dead basic things, but it's just that front-footedness, that ability not to let players off the hook. As a player, when you're playing against someone like that, all the time you think, he's ratting around me. He's not giving me a moment. He's not letting me settle on the ball. There's nothing worse than that. If you receive the ball and you're able to get your head up and play, that's happy days. But when you've got someone, it's called ratting around against you, it's a horrible feeling. And I think he gives you that. And when he gives you that, and when he's doing that, that then allows other players to do it. Again, he senses danger, if you like. He gets across to the body, he gets across to the ball, and he breaks things up. And it's just disruptiveness. It's just sending them back down their way of the pitch. Again, it's not something that you'll probably look at in a game and say, "Wow, that was brilliant." But it's just effective in what he does and what he brings to the table in terms of disrupting, in terms of what Fabinho has done for years at Liverpool, and just those horrible little things that you as a player you want on your team. Again, this is getting it off the front. As a centre half, this is brilliant to see a midfielder doing this. And again, it's just a little 5-yard pass afterwards. But as a central defender, if you've got a holding midfielder who's screening in front of you, and the ball goes into the centre forward, and you're doing your job behind, to see a midfielder ratting around in front of you and having the ability just to nick it off the front of him and keep the ball for you, that's brilliant. And listen, Jordan Clark's done it fine, and Pounds done it when he's when he's played there, okay. But for me, he just looks like a real natural holding central midfielder who's got all the attributes of being that N'Golo Kante type, who knows when to screen, who knows when to go and press, who's really, really on the front foot. Again, here, I think it's a 50-50 pretty much as he goes in for. Wins the ball from behind. It could be a free kick tonight. But again, it's just that disrupting. It's just stopping their attack, disrupting their attack. And they're all really similar, and they're all just little tiny things. But for me, it just allows your midfielders to push on. It allows your team to know that they've got that security of a midfielder who's going to go and disrupt all the time. Again, this one, he gives the ball away initially, but then his reaction straight away, bang, straight in. I'm going to get to the ball as quick as I can. And then again, he gets it back off the midfielder and then just keeps it moving again. Dead simple. And the last one, they all follow a similar theme. Again, look at how quickly he gets to the area here. How quickly he covers the ground, gets across. As soon as the player gets a touch, bang, he's in there and he disrupts and he causes players he causes teams to go backwards. And I think he'll be I think when you look at his interview after the game and you hear him talk and what he said, I think he seems like somebody you need in the dressing room. He seems like someone who's really level-headed. He seems like a leader, and I think he'll play a huge part between now and the end of the season.
It is indeed a sensational piece of business, and he does look the real deal. You actually answered a question: do you see him as more of a Kante or a Makelele in the way he plays? But you said it was Kante-esque.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit probably. People watching might know N'Golo Kante more than Makelele. It depends on how old they are, but no, I think but that type of player, I think he covers ground laterally really well. People talk about midfielders, Gerrard covering ground going up, Keane covering ground going forwards and back. He covers ground laterally, going left to right and screening that side, then going to disrupt there, then going to press in there. And again, he's not somebody who's going to set the world alight in possession of the football and play 30-yard, 40-yard, 50-yard passes. He's probably not going to score screamers from 25 yards. But I think what he'll do is be really effective in transitions. He'll be really effective in regains. And I think, as you said, I think it's a phenomenal bit of business, and the club should be, very much not rewarded, but very, very happy with that bit of business.
Yeah, it really was sensational. But marvelous business. Wait,
marvelous,
you know what's going to happen tomorrow then? Marvelous. You know what's going to happen tomorrow now against Preston? Marvellous Nakamba, 25-yard screamer.
I know, yeah, I hope so, yeah. I listen. I hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah, he's exactly what we needed, especially while Lansbury gets back to fitness. But also the 90-minute shift he put in was sensational, considering he hasn't played any football this entire season, and he's just come straight into it, hit the ground running. Just briefly on Preston North End tomorrow, or it might be today when people are watching this. Do you think he'll be as cut and dry with Ched Evans missing out due to suspension and Jakobsen out for a long time with long-term injury?
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll be cut and dry. I think it's a tough place to go. I did the commentary there with Simon last season on iFollow, and I think we got beat 2-0, and it was a really poor performance from us. So listen, nowhere you go in the Premier League, nowhere you get not yet in the Championship.
That's next season.
Yeah. Nowhere you go in the Championship's an easy game. I think they had a loss on Saturday against Burnley, which was obviously going to be a tough one for them, but I think it was Burnley. So they're not in the best of form. They're not having a brilliant season, but they're Ryan Lowe's somebody who's really passionate, who's trying to make a name for himself at this level. He did well with Plymouth, and now he's trying to cut his teeth in the Championship. And and he'll get him going. He's a feisty character, fiery character. He's a little bit similar to Nathan Jones, perhaps not quite as feisty, but so it'll be tough, and we've got to go there and assert ourselves. We've got to go there and make sure that we're on the front foot, and it'll be interesting to see the team selection, whether a lot of players have played a lot of games, had a lot of minutes in the legs over the past couple of weeks. So whether he might change it up a little bit, it remains to be seen. But hopefully we go there and give a good account of ourselves and keep the unbeaten run going.
Yeah, I hope so too. We've been on such a good run of form. It'd just be amazing to keep going and rotate well, rotate a team in that can win it, but not like. As Rob Edwards said, he put out a team at Grimsby that he believed would win it. Hopefully, we actually do put out a team that can win it. Can I get a cheeky score prediction from you for tomorrow then?
Yeah, I'll go 1-0 Luton.
Yeah, I was going to go for a 1-0 Luton. So I'm going to double down then. I'm going to say 2-0 Luton.
Okay. I'll take either of them now.
Yeah, 3 points. Take them back to Kenilworth Road. Add them to the tally. That's what we need. Thank you very much, Andy. As always,
pleasure.
Tremendous stuff.
No problem. Thank you.
And that's all we have time for this week. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow our socials on Twitter and Facebook. We are at Oak Road Hatter. On Instagram, we're at Oak Road Hatter Pod. And thank you very much for watching.